Hello, everyone. Thanks for being with us. It's another Friday, so we've got another one of our presentations, Friday Night Spiritual Insights with Michael Mirdad. You're welcome to join us every Friday, 5:30. Also, we've got other presentations. You can get on our mailing list. Go to michaelmirdad.com website, and you'll be able to get on the mailing list, and we'll let you know what we're doing and when. So just join us when and where you can. But it's it's very much an honor that anybody tunes in and feels a calling to this particular type of work. I think of my work as really getting back to reminding folks to reconnect with God in whatever form they can. Today I want to talk about a topic that once again might be strange or challenging for some people. Just a week ago I did a talk called Commitment, and it's interesting because it triggers some people, certain words. But this word today, I'm going to talk about convenience, healthy versus unhealthy convenience. And, it's interesting because some people would think, what does convenience have to do with anything? Where's that in self-help and psychology and so forth? Well, it won't take me long to explain, because convenience, when people think of, when it's convenient, would you give me a call? But there's two types of convenience. There's a type of convenience where it's like settling. I just did whatever was most convenient. And then there's another version of convenience where I recognize I'm in alignment. So something is easy and convenient because of my alignment. So when something happens, fairly like I'm plugged in and it just happens, we assume there's only one definition for convenience, but there isn't. You could be going with convenience, and people do this. They'll say, I put something out there like a prayer and then it fell into place, where in fact, something might have been happening that was convenient to your ego versus convenient to your soul. So it gets tricky once again. And I'm not trying to complicate getting guidance, but helping to awaken us and wake us up so that we can learn to discern when it's something that's a little more, ego-based, I guess you could say. All right. Ego versus spirit or soul-based for that matter. So it would be wise if you, and if people more often would think about convenience and ask yourself the question, where does it play? For example, I got married. Why? Well, I was in love with my partner. Fair enough. You can keep that. Now, also though, ask, was it in any way also convenient? And you'll be surprised. Some of us will say, well, there was also the fact that it was going to be easier to earn a living if we were sharing the same house. And instead of us each paying for an apartment, things like that. It doesn't mean it's bad. Just first own convenience. All right, take a look at it. I have a degree. Well, what degree do you have? Well, this one. Why did you choose that one? Well, I love that topic. Really? And then ask, and was convenience any part of it? Even when you decided to start drinking or smoking, sometimes there's convenience. Well, it's not convenience. It was, something I just wanted to try. You may not realize, like in my life, sometimes a couple times I made mistakes, I'll call it, but they were mistakes. It was easier, it was more convenient. Another way of saying easier, it was more convenient for me to just go along with something than it was to explain myself for not doing it. It was like, oh, forget it. Let's just do that or whatever. So convenience, looking at convenience is almost like doing some step work for 12-step people, recovery people, because it's almost like one of those questions like, where has this situation been self-serving? Where might I have played a role? And that's kind of what you're learning to ask when you say, how was this convenient? So I would take time, I got married. In what way was that convenient? I took this job. In what way was that convenient? It takes a lot of self-honesty that most human beings don't practice, but it takes a lot of self-honesty where, a relationship, a job, whatever that really I should have ended, but didn't. Okay, why? Well, they were this and they were that and this. Stop and say, but where did convenience play a role? Oh, well, God, it was very convenient for me to stay in a relationship because I couldn't afford to leave, because I didn't want to tell my mother that I divorced, because they, whatever. But look how convenience plays in. Now, is it just so we can add a new topic, a new subject matter, a new line in our evolutionary process? Like, where does convenience fit in? Start throwing the word out there for no reason? No, it's first to see that it applies. The word convenience, I went with what was easy and convenient. Get that down first. Then start to self-inventory. Where were things done, first of all, the negative convenience? Where did I do things that really weren't right for me, but I did them anyway because it was the easiest. It was I'll just go with it. It's convenient. It was me not having to take responsibility. It was me not having to do much work on something, so to me, it's like, these are statements we're making to the universe. Hi, I'm just going to settle and go with this because it's more convenient. Now, the universe might say, well, listen, if you go ahead and leave the relationship, we have wonderful things waiting for you. But no, we say no because it's not quite convenient. Convenience to our ego means don't shake things up. Don't question things. Just go with the flow. Just go with what's easy, copacetic, what you're used to, which is like saying, go with your patterns and addictions. That's when we look at it from the negative side, We're just selecting the most convenient thing to do. It's made out of, like I would say, convenience that's self-serving. And I know that's some harsh terminology for some of us. When I did something convenient, when I got married conveniently, when I chose a job out of convenience, technically, from a 12-step approach, it's called self-serving. I was going with my ego rather than inspiration or the greater good for that matter. So you could also say for convenience is also decisions that are fear-based, even though they look like they're sort of assertive, like, well, I'm going to go with this because it just seems easiest. What you think you did that was convenient and easiest to get both people in the same household to share, to spare themselves some expenses, separate expenses, they live together and get married or even you get pregnant and get married because it's convenient. So it looks like everything was copacetic with we were married first and whatever. Those false forms of convenience, they look like we're making intelligent or informed decisions, but really they're fear-based. You're not inspirationally or in a healthy way, assertively making forward decisions. You're actually terrified and then making a decision about the option that most suits your ego or your fears, so that you don't have to confront fears. Well, no, everything's okay. Look, we have a good looking relationship. I'm gay and I'm with a guy, but I just call him my friend. That's convenient. Well, why? Deep down, it's a fear-based decision because I don't want to have to deal with people asking me, why? Am I really gay? Or whatever else. I don't want to deal with my family rejecting me. It's understandable. So we could say, okay, so that was the best decision at the time. Not spiritual best, but it was an escape. It was a convenient way to avoid dealing with the truth or confrontations. Confrontations, of course, I'm not saying go after confrontation. I'm saying something happened where we decided it's not worth it. I would rather hide who I am than deal with a confrontation, which you might blame other people for doing. They're confrontational. But when you're avoiding the confrontation, you're already confronted. You're already conflicted. The confrontation was as soon as you realized you don't want, that there's a problem that you don't want to deal with. The problem itself is a confrontation. What you mean is, I don't want to look at it. And when things manifest or materialize on the outside, they're doing so that we can look at whatever's up. People that escape for convenience sake are just going to stay, essentially broken. I've had friendships in my life where a group of people, friends, how sometimes they just blow apart. They kind of end. People kind of, whether it's casually go their separate ways or there's a blow up of some kind, people kind of do with that. Well, this, interestingly enough, in my case, I always did something that I think most people wouldn't even understand. And I always said, I stayed with the person that was most convenient. But now there's negative convenient, like I don't want to risk being without any friends. So I stayed with one to keep it because it was convenient for me to feel like I had a friend, let's say. That would be a negative version. But actually, here's the positive version of convenience. So, and I've done this with personal relations and intimate relations where a positive version of convenience. So it wasn't merely something like using whoever was around as a friend. That's negative convenience. Like some of us have had friends that we don't even like the person, but rather than being without friends, it's convenient to have unhealthy friends because it's convenient. So you could equate negative convenience with unhealthy decisions, positive convenience with healthy decisions. And so what I recognize I've done with friendships, even intimate friendships, is it's when we make a conscious choice to align with what seems like whoever's left over, whoever's around. I'm gonna stay married for a little longer because she's around, he's around, they're around. Well, that could be negative convenience, but when you realize I'm gonna go ahead and make a conscious decision to go with who's healthiest. If I have 5 friends and they're all blowing in different directions, blowing apart, and I decide to stay aligned with one, I'm making a conscious decision to stay aligned with the healthiest one. That is a positive convenience. Convening, joining together, and wow, how nice. I can make convenient decisions that aren't ego convenience, but spiritual based convenience. It's to insist on who's the healthiest. So think about that now. First, I said, reflect on any area of your life. If you ask, was there convenience involved? Negative, let's call it first. You could also ask for the positives, but where may that have been convenient? Man, I'm so mad that this job talked me into staying, and they promised me a raise and I never got it. And so I'm really mad at them for promising and never delivering. Stop. How might that have been convenient for me? Well, it was easier to stay with that job than look for another, right? Negative convenience. If I had 2 jobs to choose from, that I'm working at 2 jobs, and I want to let one go, but I choose one that really aligns the most of the 2. It's closer to home. It's easier to get to and from. The people seem healthier, etc. Now I'm choosing what is most convenient to my soul. And that you should also ask yourself, have you ever pulled that off? Look back in your life, reflect. If you can't learn how to look back and reflect to where you've made unhealthy, convenient choices and versus healthy, convenient choices, you won't as easily recognize them now. Once again, using the past not to live out of, but using the past for a positive convenience to help me understand what it looks like now, the healthy version, and the unhealthy version, so I know what I'm doing today. I can recognize what decisions I'm making today. So I would call it even conscious convenience versus the unconscious moments where I'm unconsciously or seemingly unaware that I'm pulling off things that just seem to be the most convenient. So one has to do with settling and one has to do with conscious participation. So just think about this. Apply this however, wherever. I find it to be just one more way of looking at life and asking self-inventory. Wow, was I doing this for convenience? Yes. Okay. What was it Was it healthy convenience or unhealthy? Was it conscious convenience or unconscious? Can I recognize there was a healthy value out of this and see it's a healthy convenience, or flip-flop? So take some time, check it out, see how you feel about this, and how it might apply in your life. Again, I'm aware of times in my life making convenient decisions that were unhealthy. I would say a couple times in relations, a couple times in school as a kid. Just it's settling, and it's not necessary. We're holy children of God, deserving of all the good that God is. So to allow that into our lives and realize, come on, man, really? No settling. Doing things just because it was convenient, meaning it was easy as an escape, or was it easy because it was in like the Zen ease? It was like, wow, it just aligned. It was so beautiful. There are relationships that are just easy and convenient. When we get into healthy convenience, it's challenging to even use the word convenience anymore because we have a negative connotation to it, or an unconscious connotation. We don't all think of it as negative, but we say, well, it was very convenient. But try to imagine that word that doesn't always sound negative. Try to imagine using that. Why did you have children? It was convenient. Does that feel good? Why did you marry them? It was convenient. Wow. And that's what you and I did in our lives, partnerships and relations, even friendships, or hiring employees that weren't really great for us as assistants or whatever role they played, but it was convenient. Getting ripped off from employees, some of you have had that happen. Why'd you keep them? Why'd you hire them? It was convenient. We needed somebody. We were desperate. And if I'm a workshop facilitator, why did you do that one workshop? It was convenient. I needed the money. Really? Is that the way you want to live your life? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I want to be conscious. I want to be awake. I want to be aware. I want to be responsible. So mere convenience, mind you, oh my God, if I'm trying to reach something important and valuable up on a shelf and a traveling step stool salesman walks by and okay, let me get that. I'm going to get one. It's convenient. Did I really want one? Maybe not. Did I want to spend the $10 on it or whatever? Maybe we didn't, but it's convenient. And if I can just realize, fine, I didn't really want one, need one, but you know what? I didn't really, I wasn't looking for one, but I want that thing there and this fits. So now I can turn that into a positive convenience because I can make it make sense for my highest good because of that item up there that I needed to reach. So now it works out. But I do want to know, even in instances that I'm not sure if it's positive or negative convenience, I do want to know. I want to be aware, self-aware enough to know when I'm going and I'm bargaining, myself, where it's a negative convenience and I didn't even want to see it. So positive convenience means I'm taking responsibility and turning it into a positive because I can see where it works for me. I like this, as opposed to settling. One's an empowering decision-making, and the other is disempowering. One can lead to inspiration or could be led by inspiration. The other, it's tangential. So again, something to think about. And I pray this really works and you can see it in your life. Where have I been self-serving? Oh, that's intense. Then change the word to where have I made choices out of convenience? It's a softer way of looking at the same point. All righty? Thank you, guys. God bless you. Appreciate your time. If you like these programs, my heart's filled with, from the energy of people that love the work that I do. It's my work, it's my ministry. And I work with and through Unity of Sedona, a spiritual center that we created all of us that attend and watch and donate and so on, we all participated co-creating this. It's a very beautiful collaboration that we put together in the city of Sedona in Arizona, the USA. I'm saying that for some of you because I know you're all around the world. So thank you for joining us. Remember, please, if you're watching this on Facebook, like it and do all that kind of stuff that they do to kind of share it, and do choose to share it. But, I'm not ambitious in a big way. So I would just tell you, share it with people you feel are right instead of blasting my teaching out everywhere. I'm not interested. I like when there's the right people. So if you don't mind taking a moment to intuit the right people to share this or my work with, that would be most appreciated. If you're watching on YouTube, you can also, do things there to share and all that, but try to get on both, because these systems at times have gone down in this world. There's a lot of controversy around, like some of these companies having weird foundations and whatever. So get on more than one if you can, including my mailing list. We'll email you and keep you posted when I'm doing things. That's the safest, guys, because any one of these, they're allowed legally at this point, these companies, to just pull people out or block people when they want to. So I would just encourage you, please don't become a subject of that stuff, a victim of that sort of stuff. Just find your power, plug yourself in where you need to and can, and stay informed to the programs you think are healthy for you. All right. If you feel like donating, it's much, much appreciated. You can do that here, or you can just do it directly by mail for that matter. But please, guys, consider when you can send a donation for a particular talk or for my work in general, or become a sponsor. You can become an annual sponsor, $50 a year or 5,000 or whatever you want to do per year. That way, it's automatic withdrawals that you don't have to think too much about. All right. All right. Many blessings to you. Hope to see you all soon in our next program, perhaps. We'll see you. Bye-bye.